There we go. Hi, everyone. I know I've been a little sporadic at these Thursday meetings, but I've been desperate to try to protect some time to keep up with emails and writing and everything and many of these other responsibilities. And unfortunately, in spite of those efforts to protect that time, I still feel like I'm desperately behind in emails, writing, and these other responsibilities. But I guess I'd be even more behind than I am now. We've actually, I've been doing a lot of work on this project on the Monday telecons. We have a Monday telecon that's joint with NJIT with the Antarctic project because we have funding to put stuff down in Antarctica if we can ever get through the bureaucracy. And we also have, and then also at the Monday night meetings with Tapper. So I've mostly been on there. And the reason that a lot of the activity with NJIT has been going on is that seems to be when the Antarctic group was able to meet, and they're logistically local to here in Scranton. So we've been doing a number of activities with them, kind of on a local level. So I've been doing a lot of work this summer trying to get the Daisy 2 personal space weather station um, equipment running at a number of more local places to me, and trying to build up a team of people here on the East Coast that have an awareness of what we're doing and are starting to deploy some stations. This includes stations at my house, so I now have three RX 888 personal space weather stations running at my house, in addition to the Grape 1, Grape 2, Grape 1 DRF, and ground magnetometer. I'm still aware that none of these are reporting to the UA website because I still need to be able to find a day where I can actually get that going, and that is on my list of things to do. We've also recently deployed a magnetometer in RX 888 up in Warwick, New York, at another University of Scranton professor's house, Dr. Christine Zagzewski, Kilo Echo 2 FDW, I think. Um, so we sent a team of students and myself, and some staff and other faculty members up to her house, and we put a station in up there. And then over we've also just yesterday, we were at the Jenny Jump site. This is a state park in Western New Jersey. It's halfway between New Jersey Institute of Technology and the University of Scranton. And Mary Lou is very familiar with this site because she was an official observer there at one point. And there's a group called the United Astronomy Clubs of New Jersey, and they have an observatory there. That's an astronomy observatory. And NJIT also has an agreement with them. They have multiple, Mary Lou's saying multiple astronomy observatories there, multiple telescopes. It's a very, very neat facility. Very woodsy, very rustic, and a lot of fun to be at. Absolutely beautiful. And NJIT has a number of instruments for space physics there, including they have some HF antennas that I installed back when I was a postdoc at NJIT as well. So I I went there yesterday with some faculty and staff and students from Scranton, and we met up with Hyomin Kim and his students from NJIT, and we installed a new RX 888 station there. So we had a few challenges, but um, I think we have it all going now, and we can Rob Robinette can explain how we resolved or how he resolved one of our challenges overnight. And then the next big thing is going to be the K3LR installation, which is going to be happening at K3LR um, in August 4th through 7th. And certainly, people who would like to come are certainly welcome. So if you are like a Case Western person and you'd like to come, definitely come. Probably talk to Chris Zorman about funding for your trip. Um, and I'm going to try to have definitely the Scranton people are coming, the NJIT people are coming. I think he might be having some local college come as well. I'm going to be meeting with Tim on Zoom at 10:30 a.m. this morning to talk about logistics for that. So I think we're now in a good spot where we can talk about logistics since we've learned a lot from setting up these stations so far. All right, that was a lot. Any questions? I'd like to show you um, a little bit of how some of this is working right now. Um, Rearranging. I'm going to share my screen in a second here. Here we go. So one of the neat things about these new Whisper Demon RX 888 systems is that they are very, very multi-purpose and they are very nicely web-based. And similar to the Kiwi SDRs, they have a web SDR interface. It's not nearly as fancy as a Kiwi SDR, but it certainly can do the same basic thing. So here is the web SDR display from one of the antennas at my house that is running in real time. Um, Here is the WebSDR display from another one at my house, and I think I have some concerns about this one. This is running the SAS. We have to, it looked better last week. I don't know what happened. Here's the one running at Christine's house, Dr. Zagzuski. So you can see her station there. And then here's the one that we just installed at UACNJ yesterday. And I can share my audio. Um, let's see here. Share computer sound. Here we go. And so, you can put in WWV, can zoom center, zoom in. See what it sounds like. Start audio.
We're not seeing your screen anymore.
In my screen.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Oh,
I see the screen.
Okay.
really?
You
Yeah,
can
we
hear
got
it.
audio too. This is cool.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Here's 15 megahertz WWV at my station, which I should also point out is not we say it's WWV, or I keep saying that, but I think there's been a lot of demonstration recently that you just can't assume it's WWV. It could be WWVH. You have to be very careful when you're making these assumptions. I think Win has been demonstrating that very nicely. There's 15 megahertz. So this is the one at my house. No, I'm sorry, this is the one at UACNJ. So you can see these are really nice systems to set up. And then what's nice is in addition to having a web SDR like this, these things are simultaneously reporting on reporting grape DRF like data on um the six on 9 bands simultaneously, so including WWV/WWVH and the CHU bands. And at the same time as that, it's also reporting all of the Whisper and FT8 spots to Whisper dot rocks and Rob's database and the Whisper Demon database and also whisper.org. And it's doing it on all bands simultaneously. Let's see if I so all right. So yeah, you can go. So now I guess on the list I'm my W2NF-3 station is number 91 in the world for top spotters for the last 24 hours. UACNJ is this. So I'm not seeing their reports yet, so we have to figure out how to get that going since I didn't put in an actual call sign. I put in UACNJ. Um, so so these systems are working, and they seem to be, the installation's a little complicated. It's not as straightforward as we would like, but we're starting to build up a number of stations and gain some insight in how to actually install these things. Any questions? And the ones right now, the the Daisy 2 ones that are on HamSCI, they're all on a VPN. So these are not like publicly accessible. Um what do you call it? They're not publicly accessible web SDRs right now, but Rob, is there a way that we would be able to make these um
Yes, yes. Yeah, all you have to do is open the port on your at the VPN server. So if you right now this all the ports are firewalled at vpn.hamsci.org.
okay.
So you just need to change the firewall rules so that port 46, you could do a range of ports, 46,000 to 46,200 or something. That range of ports, as long as you let them through the firewall,
Okay.
and, that's the range of ports. So
All right, so maybe I can talk to you a little bit about that when we're off recording.
yeah,
Uh,
there's another mechanism that Phil Karn, K9, keeps saying we should be using the 44 net addresses, and
mm,
um, but that comes with that adds one more thing to configure and opens up all the ports on these servers to the so then you have to turn on firewalling on each of the receive sites. So I
right.
think that's not a desirable thing to do. Phil doesn't understand that, but I think there's major security and liability issues associated with opening up all the
Right.
ports.
Right. So that all makes sense. But I think this is very good progress. The other thing that's nice is there were some issues with the VLF receiver design causing interference on HF due to DC to DC converters. But I think Elmer Musser has demonstrated a way that the power supply can be redesigned and isolated that will mitigate that problem while at the same time maintaining VLF performance. So that's very exciting. So we're still working on Elmer's still doing some additional testing and refinement of that design, but at least he was able to. He spent a week at my house last week and was able to demonstrate that his design does work. So I think we are, we're behind schedule in terms of, if we said in the grant that we were going to deploy all these things year one, we are definitely behind schedule in that regard. But I think we are, it's a 4-year grant, and I think we are doing very well in terms of having a nice, robust system that is very, very capable, and we are resolving the technical challenges that we've been made aware of over the past couple months, and we are building up a number of people who have expertise in this. And I also have people at Scranton here too. Bob Spoletta, he's helping me as a project manager. So he's helping me to build a workflow to the point where we'll eventually be able to have a workflow for building up, putting together boxes with all of the parts that can get shipped out to people. So we're on our way. And I also messaged Christina Collins, and she said she'll be able to join this telecon next week. So back to net.
Okay. All right. I see, Bill, you were on today. Do you have any updates?
Yeah, Nathaniel, it sounds like great progress. That's very encouraging to hear. So I had a success yesterday. After a lot of effort, I finally got Apache working on the new server and serving a copy of the complete personal space weather station network website. That's not for external consumption, but it is working for test purposes. So that means we can start moving ahead with moving some stuff over there. It's going to be a while before we're ready to actually start accepting updates at that site, but I want to get everything working. And I still have to figure out a number of complexities regarding user IDs and accounts and how to manage that. See if we can get something that's a little bit more secure than what we've had in the past. So far, on the next topic, so far we've completed moving 13 Grape One legacy systems users, moving away from uploading to WWV Club Server to uploading to the personal space for the station network. I have to follow up with a number of other people who have not responded. I'm almost up to date with WWV importation into personal space for the station network. So most of the data that was on the WWV club server up to about the 10th of this month is now on the personal space for the station system and has been cataloged in the database, so it's accessible. A question came up, do we want to think about providing replacement Western Digital Purple drives for those that fail, where we seem to be hitting the end of lifetime for a few of them. So that's something to consider, what we want to do on that. Another question was put, do we want to add something to the Grape 2 systems so that they upload their CSV files daily? They are generating FLDigi CSV files daily. I don't know whether that's worth doing because that data comes through on the hard drives that get sent anyway. But it's a question that came up. Throw that out there as an open topic. On a personal note, I've been making some progress. I'm trying to recover from the tornado hit. I've got my tower reconstructed, and I ordered a replacement antenna for the hex beam that got torn up and destroyed in a tree. But then I didn't realize how big this new one was going to be. It has like a 19-foot turning radius. It's a Cushcraft A4S. And although it should be great for chasing DX, I think I'm going to actually have to hire a tree service to come and cut out some trees in order to be able to put the antenna up. So it's on the order. It's kind of similar to that Skyhawk system you put on the building. There, I even figured out how to put it up myself without help. But this is anyway. Haste makes waste, I guess you could say. So it's coming along. Anyway, that's my report. Back to that.
I have a couple other updates too. Forgot about. So first of all, to answer Bill's question, yes, I'm sure that we can send out new hard drives if people's hard drives are failing. So let me know where you want them shipped to, and basically, if you can tell me which one you want and where you want it shipped to, send that to Salisa, and then I will tell Salisa where to charge it to, and she can get it shipped and ordered and sent out. Yeah.
Well, those, yeah, in the past, we have generally configured those. They have to have a name assigned and be formatted in, what is it, ext4, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessarily as easy as just getting a drive and shipping it. It has to be prepped, which is something that can be done in 10 minutes, but somebody has to do it, I guess.
Right. So I guess I can say that in terms of paying for the drives, I can pay for them. In terms of prepping them, I think I'd leave the prepping. If we find someone else who's willing to prep them, then we can replace them.
I'll ask, well, I wonder if anybody at Case Western Reserve is able to do that. I mean, this is the Case Western Reserve system that we're working on here. So anyway.
I don't see John on today. I don't know yet if I feel like he wrote a protocol for formatting hard drives already. But I'll ask him for an update on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's something you can do in 10 minutes if you know how to do it.
Yeah.
I think John Gibbon did them last
And then
time.
in terms of the Grape 2 data, I would love to see a way that it automatically reports to Alabama. Maybe that takes a little bit more of a discussion since we'd have to have someone who's able to do the programming for that, and then we have to decide exactly how much data we want sent up to Alabama and in which way. Um, my preference would be, I mean, yeah. So I don't know how. I think it would be really we should have some mechanism for getting the grape 2 data to report to Alabama on a regular basis.
That could be a Kong thing
It could
if
be.
he's still available.
Kung may or may not be still available. If he is still available, it'd probably be on a volunteer basis at the moment. Um, the he is in the midst of trying to figure out what he does next in life because his job offer that he originally had fell through. And so he's pursuing a number of different options for what he might do next. So he he may be available, he may not be, he may be available for like a short amount of time. I don't know. So
Where is he in his schooling? Was he going to work on a master's or something? Where what?
he just graduated with his master's from here.
Okay.
So one thing that I've encouraged him to do is actually encourage him to look at a PhD, including at Case Western. But yeah, so I think things are still up in the air with him. So we just have to kind of wait and see. But certainly we can ask talk to him on a if there's a very contained thing that we want him to do or some we could ask him if it's feasible and if he wants to do it. So he did send me an email the other day that he was dusting off his computer to do some additional coding. So he did show interest in not being completely out of it. Let's see. So the other thing, so along with that would be, which data do we want to have the grape to upload? Do we have it upload just the grape 1 FL Digitype data? Do we have it upload the 10 hertz sampling rate spectrograms like the grape 1 DRFs do and Whisper Demon does? Do we have it do both? Do we have it upload the full DRF data? Um, I think that question's a bigger question.
Yeah. The full spectrum is going to be something that most people are going to run into data volume restrictions from their ISP.
Mhm.
Um, so now as far as the filtering to get the 10 hertz, that requires some processing. So the question will be, is there capacity on the system? There very well might be. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think, getting that 10 hertz out, I don't think is nearly as processing intensive as you might think if you do it correctly. I think KA9Q radio is a really good example of that, where they just, FFT the whole thing and then pull out the bins they want. So you can use that fast convolution technique, and even I think Kung's as part of Kung's master's thesis, he had to come up with signal processing techniques to create these summary spectrograms, so that runs efficiently, and so I think he may already have that code kind of ready to go. So I don't think that would be incredibly difficult for Kung to do. Um, so yeah, I think in for most cases, I say most cases, I think the 10 hertz data is sufficient to with a big caveat. Um, so the biggest caveat is we when you look at that 10 hertz data, you really cannot be sure just looking at it if you're looking at WWV or WWVH or something else. And there's
Right.
absolutely no way to show to be sure which one you are looking at. And that's where I think the full spectrum data could be useful because there can be additional clues as to which one you're receiving. Now, with that said, I still firmly believe the 10 hertz data that gives us those spectrograms is much more useful, um, a much more useful data product to save than just the FL traces. There's so much more information in there than the FL traces. And so if I were to take a middle ground, again, I would probably take the 10 hertz data as my as a preferred data product.
One thing you might consider, Nathaniel, is if you get 10 hertz around the carrier frequency, then get 10 hertz around, what is it, 600 and 700 hertz?
Yeah.
And
And
that tells you WWVH.
right. And that would be, I think, the next step is to say, okay, if we're not going to save the entire, 8 kilohertz, let's pick out which slices we want to save so we do have additional clues.
You can save all of that together in a digital RF as different subchannels.
hmm So I think that's the thing to do. And I think the question is, and then when we do that, we'd want to have the Whisper Demon systems do that as well. But I think it is a research project in itself to decide to figure out which slices and how to save it. And that's not just a weekend project. It's so I mean maybe it's a
Right.
weekend project for certain people, but I think that but I think in general. So I mean that might be something we also have Alabama like do as part of your upgrade system. And I don't know, but somehow we have to figure that out. And I think even I know we have Alabama has a lot of funding for doing upgrades and stuff like that. I think we have to have a really good workshop or a discussion of what the scope of those upgrades are going to be. Because I don't think we have that super well defined right now.
Yeah, right now, that's true. Right now, I'm focusing on just getting the server to be to do pretty much what the old server does
Right.
as a first step. Uh,
And
we we know we do need to add, we need to improve our security and some things like that. But there's also a tremendous number of features that are excellent ideas of things to add.
yeah.
We have to prioritize them.
We do. And I think this is, I think we're all still in this transition phase because because we need to have Christina involved in this discussion as well. And I know that she's still trying to transition, finishing off her postdoc project before she fully gets on board with this project. And I'm still just trying to you know, make sure I know how to run Whisper Demon and get these systems deployed and kind of get that going. But yeah, we do need to somehow all come together and have a meeting where we do put all of these features on the table. What do we want? And then we do, like you said, we have to prioritize them and then choose which ones we're actually going to implement.
Now, is Christina on faculty now at Case Western?
Uh, I don't think so. I think she is, I think she's still full-time employed uh, by the Space Science Institute, but she will be funded 30% through this Daisy grant. Uh, so the money is going to Case Western, and then there's a subaward to Space Science Institute to pay for her for working on this. So
Okay. Yeah, because some institutions don't like to hire their own PhDs to go on faculty. They like to,
it's
have
always
cross-pollination, as they say.
it's always tricky, but Christina is living in Cleveland. She is because that's where her family is, and she is uh working um working from there and working as a soft money researcher at this point. So yeah, so but we definitely need to get her involved. So the other update I wanted to show is Wing Griffiths has been incredibly busy with things, as usual. And one of the things that he has come up with is, I can probably give a preview of this. Let me find it. Hold on. Um, Hang on. Here it is. Let me make sure I share the right thing here. Okay, so Gwyn has been writing an article for QEX about how to access and use the Doppler shift data from the HamSCI Personal Space Weather Station database. And this is going to be really nice for people who want to actually download and use our data. And you can see here he has some plots of the Whisper Demon multi-frequency data. He has he and I have worked together where we now have, this part's publicly available. If I pull up the right thing here, where'd it go? There it is. We now have a public GitHub on the HamSCI repository, which I can put in the chat here. So if you want to, this shows, this GitHub code makes all the plots in that article and a few more, and it tells you how to install the code and the requirements, and it gives examples. So I need to redo this. I should not have the I'll have to take these red lines off because that's from Shibaji's thing. That should not be there. So I've got to get rid of that. But it shows you how to make these plots. And then so basically you can go to the University of Alabama database. You can, so psws.hamsci.org. You can go to observations. You can find a RX888 data file. Like this. You can hit download observation data, and then you can use this code to plot it in Python. And then you can add on the solar elevation angles, you can add on eclipse obscurations, you can slice and dice it however you like. And then Gwyn took it a step further. He came up with a way where if you have a plot that has like more than one trace at a time, he has a technique where it can pull out the two different traces and assign them to different vectors. So it's actually really useful for studying the multipath propagation. And he also goes into this article and he also talks about a case where he actually shows that even though the observations were made in the UK, he demonstrates with fairly high confidence using both the ray tracing and the ITU-R-H propagation models that you're actually hearing WWVH, not WWV. So again, going beyond that initial idea that, oh, the UK is closer to Colorado, it's going to hear WWV, not WWVH. No, he actually demonstrates that for this period of time, it's very likely you're getting WWVH. So this article is not, fully public yet. It hasn't been published yet, but I'm sure if you send Gwyn an email and ask for him to send you a draft manuscript, he'd share it with you. And this And then we do have the code available on GitHub as well. So I have to make some modifications to this, but that should be pretty easy to do. So this is a really nice step forward for having tools, making tools available for people to actually use the data for analysis. Back to net.
Very cool. Let's see what else we have today. There are no other questions, comments, or concerns. Rob, did you have any updates? Okay. Does anyone else have any questions, comments, concerns, business discussion? All right. I think that's probably it for today then. 73, everyone.
88.
Thanks, everyone.
73 all. 73.
Thank you.